Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the patch 5.2 preliminary patch notes. These are going to be missing a few things from the full patch notes, which we'll cover as we're going through the patch notes themselves. Now I am live streaming this on Twitch, but posting it to YouTube, so going to do this little shout out, I guess, again before. I already told this to the Twitch people. Today's going to be a busy day in my subscription box, just warning anyone clicking on this first. So you've been warned. There's going to be quite a few things coming out. So now, with that, let's get started. Patch 5.2 preliminary notes. So there's a few things that are going to be missing from this. One, all the Ishgard stuff that's coming in 5.21, which will be 3 weeks after the release of 5.2, is not here. That includes crafting and gathering related adjustments that are specifically coming with the Ishgard Restoration, as well as the updates to Ishgard Restoration overall. Also, all information about the Relic quest line is absent from here, as that will be coming in 5.25. That includes information about the secret trial, the process of unlocking it. So anything that's not coming right on Tuesday isn't in these patch notes. On top of that, they've foregone doing job-related changes until the full patch notes. We heard they might be doing that recently. So it actually seems a little bit lighter than usual, but there's still a lot to discuss here. So as we go down here into playable content, this we just skip by every time. This is just a bunch of question marks letting us know how many main scenario quests there will be, and if there's like the odd quests we need to complete before any of that stuff. The Sorrow of Waralit, our new extreme trial series, as I like to call it. We've got the Eden quests, which we only have the name of the first one, Away with the Fairy, which will of course require you to have completed E4 normal and the quests that come with the first tier of Eden normal. Now for those who are newer, you do not need to beat the previous Savage in order to do this Eden normal or this Eden Savage. If you didn't finish Savage, that's fine. You can go into this without any sort of problems whatsoever. Now this last quest, needing to complete the main scenario quest, I guess I'd have to go back to the 5.01 patch notes and see if that was just to complete Shadowbringers and if this is the Savage unlock quests. But I mean, either way, I don't think it'll be the 5.2 main scenario, even if it's not just the Shadowbringers quest. But I noticed that when I was looking through before I started this recording. This has me excited. So Yorha Dark Apocalypse. We're not getting a new 24-man this patch, but we are getting some more quests for it, which is something I really wanted them to do for all the 24-mans before, because it kind of sucks to just forget about the 8-mans and the 24-mans for these long stretches of time. And I want them to do it with the 8 and the 24-mans more, but I think for this, I'm hoping this is the beginning of me kind of enjoying the Yorha Dark Apocalypse quest, because lore-wise, it left everything to be desired in the first tier, which is not too abnormal for the 24-mans, but Ivalice I felt like had a much better connection to the world. Even Crystal Tower, there is a much better connection to the world, and I'm still waiting to see if this is all just Yorha a near fan service, or if there is any real connection to events on the first or the lore in Final Fantasy XIV, and it's not just the set place for these 24-mans to be taking place. New side story quests, I think this is the, all the fish in the sea. This is ocean fishing right here. The Kitari Beast Tribe quests, where you can unlock them, reminding people that there's quest sync, that there's main quests to unlock more, unlockables and story. And on top of that, there's daily quest currencies. Now, there is also a branching path at one point with the Keykerns. The rewards are the same by the end of it all, but there's going to be the actual appearance of your Beast Tribe area, as well as the actual events of the quest will vary. So keep that in mind when you're going through. You are eventually going to be picking a path for you to go down, and until it gets added to New Game Plus, you probably won't be able to go down to the other path at any point. So you'll have to ask your friends how that one goes. Fair Skies have been added to Lee Meg. Chronicles of New Era and side quest objective icons have been changed to indicate elevation. I didn't even remember that was a problem. Doman Enclave docks have been added to the Doman Enclave. Alright, new Ethernet shards. I haven't been there in a while, but that's fine. New chapters added to New Game Plus. So we've got the 8-man raids, the previous expansion's worth of 8-man raids, the Crystal Tower, the Shadow of Mach, Return to Ivalice, Warring Dryads, and Four Lords. So basically, all the 8 and 24-man content and the stories around them all have it available for the Chronicles of a New Era, at least from the previous expansions. Then for side story, we got Hildebrand, further Hildebrand, even further Hildebrand, and then Tales from Dragonsong War and the Scholasticate. Scholasticate in particular is something I actually never got around to. I've only learned about it through Ethos, so it's kind of a reminder that I might want to do that. So just kind of outing myself on that one. New items for Gemstone Trainers. I expected this. I actually kind of want to go cap my gemstones before this comes out, because there's a high probability some new recipes need these new items. Participation in fates that appear in seasonal events will no longer be counted towards certain achievements. Okay. Treasure hunt, the rewards for maps have been adjusted, and the rewards in the dungeon have been adjusted. They do this almost every patch, even the odd-numbered patches, so just means more money to be earned. And that shell leather will probably become more common in 5.2. It'll probably still be expensive, but not like 2-3 million gil expensive like it was for a pretty long time. New craftable items for the company workshop. As you can see, we've got this very... I actually really like the look of that house, just going back to it real quick. Like I'm a big fan of the look of that. Advanced production phase, the company crafting alone. Yeah, they said we were going to get that. Additions and adjustments have been made to voyages, new areas, new items, maximum rank. They do that almost every patch too. The maximum rank for free companies has been increased, so we finally get an idea of what that's even going to do. And it's really weird because it's going all the way up to 30, but the rewards here only list until 20. What? I mean, that must mean they've got more ranks planned, because why would they let us go 10 ranks over the reward? Whatever. 10, 12, 15, 18, 20. Number of company chest compartments to 4 and up to 5, which is a decent amount of additional space for free companies, especially anyone who has really small free companies. That'll go a long way. Maximum number of inactive company actions, so you can just store these up. Yeah, that's kind of nice. I just really wonder why it stops at 20 when you can go all the way up to 30. Maybe they just haven't figured out exactly how they want to structure the rewards. It might mean that we get rewards for ranks like 25 and 30 in like 5.3 without them needing to increase the rank. Maybe it's just that they couldn't make the space for any more things after that. Well, we'll see. Private estates added in 5.1 are now available for purchase. I guess that means for personal purchase. Yeah, it says private estates. So these are all the wards 19 through 21 can now be purchased by individuals. I kept wanting to say the word personal so many times because I call it personal housing. The furnishing design contests, the winners have been added. Other new furnishings have been added. You can see some plushes, tables, all sorts of adornments that the housing enthusiast will certainly enjoy. The tree, as well as I think this is supposed to be the archways from the dungeon. I keep wanting to say Lee Meg because of I keep wanting to say everything except the name of the actual dungeon. And Lee Meg, Lee Gia, I can never get it right to remember the pixie ones, but I think that's where that's from. Mannequins for Al Raz have been added. Don't tell Fold. New Orchestrion roles have been added following the addition of new Orchestrion roles. The categories have been adjusted, so there's just more categories now for Orchestrion roles. Okay. New aquarium fish. That thing looks cool. It's got like the head of a snapping turtle. That thing looks dangerous. New seed for flower pots. I had forgotten those were a thing. Angler prints can now be added to housing. They had showed this during the live letter as of late. You can see the print settings. Just a quick little overview of it. New estate tags under renovation and concert hall. Interesting. Yo, the new stage, the Falling City of Nim, has been added to the Leap of Faith. Yo, that's the real content right there. I don't even need to scroll down anymore. That's it. I'm done. This is all I really needed to see. So I'm good. Thank you. Thank you, Yoshi P, for the real content. Now this, I don't know 100% how I feel. Leap of Faith, you can only get the old Leap of Faith on the hour. And 20 and 40 minutes past, it will always be the Falling City of Nim if you get Leap of Faith at all. So I don't know. I kind of just wish that they had a system that just picked one of the two randomly every time. It's just kind of weird to me that they have to, because I guess they're individual instances and they, I guess, can't be 100% randomized, like, because it needs to zone you in. They need to select a time. I hope they come up with a system, because I don't... we see this in PvP, too, where, like, they just start phasing out old things, because I guess the way their queue system is developed doesn't allow them to, I guess, randomize it as efficiently among the same map. So I hope they come up with a... because that's something that should be really basic. This shouldn't... this in PvP, it just shouldn't be the way that it is. New triple triad cards. It's always fun. Dome and Mahjong, the opponent's homeworld, can now be confirmed in the opponent's list. New MGP prizes, and that one's going to probably be a few 100,000, I imagine. So if you like a bunny with a scarf, I would go to the Gold Saucer this weekend before the patch releases. Miscellaneous songs can be played now using performance assistants. Okay. Chloe's gold certificates and silver commentation have been adjusted. They do that every time. Meditation gauge has been added for Samurai. Specifically meaning the 3 dots down there at the bottom. And, that's the only job change you'll get in the whole patch notes. So, enjoy it. And it's not even like a job change. That's why they can put it in there. Anamnesis Anitor, the new dungeon, is going to be part of the main scenario and will be challengeable with trusts, should you desire. The old dungeons, the ones that were after the Amarat, the Twinning and Academia Anid, the first one, and the Grand Cosmos are all 470. I don't know if I said Anamnesis when I said this one. I think I said Academia. Those will all be synced to item level 470. Music for certain instance boss battles introduced in 5.0 and 5.1 has been adjusted. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know what that means. Help alleviate inventory clutter. Certain items such as Void Scent Blood and Bat Fangs will no longer drop from enemies. Thank you. And you never realize how much I wanted something until I read it in a patch note. Thank you. Thank you. The Cinder Drift, the Ruby Weapon Trial, the normal mode will require item level 455. This is part of the Sorrow of Warlit quest line. And then the Extreme will require item level 470. That means we can probably tell the weapons will be 485. That's in line with last expansion. Byakuo had a 440 entry and dropped item level 455 weapons. So it makes sense. It's in line with the previous expansions and what we were pretty much expecting to happen. Looking forward to this one in particular, but I'll be in Savage Day 1. So I'll be a little bit late to the Ruby Weapon train. Gunbreaker and Dancer weapons are now available from coffers that appear after completing Shinryu's domain. That's going to be a big talk for a while, because one, people are still waiting on Shiny's urban weapons, but two, they've been pretty apprehensive about adding Gunbreaker and Dancer weapons to older content. You know, we just really haven't seen it. They've just been saying, oh, you know, it's too much work, too many assets, too much whatever. So being added to Shinryu is a bit weird, because why? My first thought as a raider is, you know, maybe they're just getting a head start on the next ultimate. Or an ultimate down the line. The other thing could just be that they wanted to do it. Or maybe their designers just went rogue and said, hey, we really think these would be cool, let's do it. It wouldn't be the first time they've done that. But I guarantee you ask any raider who does ultimate about that, even though it is realistically indicative of nothing, because Alexander, they just grabbed old models. They could have made new ones, but they just grabbed old ones and made them, you know, shinier. That's going to be the first thing that pops into most of our minds, is that might be in preparation for a future ultimate. We'll see. I don't doubt Shinryu will one day be an ultimate, and now they will have weapons with which to base it off of, and every job will have weapons to base it off of at that. But you never know. Never know. Maybe we'll talk about it in one of the videos that's coming out later. You can buy the mounts from Innocence and Titania with totems in 5.2. The new raid, Eden's Verse, has been added. This is going to be another big point of discussion. 455 is the minimum item level to enter normal mode. And it's the same loot system, same everything from the first tier of Eden Normal. It's just new loot, new names, same old normal mode. New story, though. And that's the big thing I'm looking forward to. On top of that, earning the Blades of Gold Antiquity, and then after like 7 weeks, along with your tombstones, you could purchase an unupgraded tombstone weapon, or you just do Savage Forehead. The new raid dungeon, Eden's Verse Savage, has been added. Now, one of the big things that we got here, I want to make sure I didn't skip it in normal mode, is we had item level requirements, but most importantly, we finally have the names of all of the Eden's Verse fights. We have Fulmination, Furor, Iconoclasm, and Refulgence. Now, this directly gives us the order of the encounters that we saw in the trailer. Fulmination is without a doubt Ramuh. Furor is almost definitely these two we have up here, so they would be the second fight, the Voidwalker equivalent. And then we have Iconoclasm, which is very likely the icon that was surrounded by light and dark that we saw in the trailer. So they were right. Yoshi P did say that you don't know the order of the fights yet. And he was telling the truth. They were not in order on the trailer. The trailer did 3, 1, then 2. Now, 4 is where the discussion really gets interesting, because Refulgence has several different meanings, but most people are not actually even looking at the English name for this. Most people are looking at the German name for this, which is I can't pronounce it. It's do I have it? I think I might have it somewhere. Let me see. Esterung, which I'm so sorry to German people watching how terribly that was pronounced. Now, that has a few meanings. It could mean anything from light to freezing. Like it depends on how you want to interpret it, because Orion J has used the term before to refer to light. So there is that. And of course, if you actually were to Google the German to English translation Esterung, which I did before this, you would find that it's got a few different meanings. Solidification is one, freezing is another. But you have to remember that the light, which Refulgent seems to more directly be hinting at, in the first is a form of stagnation. It stagnates ether, freezes ether in a sense. So I wouldn't, as much as I really want it to be Shiva, I think that the German name is a little bit closer to maybe being a possibility. I'm still not 100% convinced. Some people are like all in on it being Shiva now. But I'd say that it's still 50-50. It could be some brand new, more Eden-focused light boss, or it could be Shiva. It's just a matter of which it will be. I actually think it's more likely to be a light boss, like a boss that's completely original or new. And not one of the primals, and that Shiva would be delegated to E9, which I don't want, but sometimes you just don't get what you want. So we'll see. We'll know on Tuesday. They'll just have to wait. And then of course, the time limits 90-90, 90-90-90, 120, because we all know that last fight's always a little bit of a long one. Savage, you need to finish normal in all the quests for Eden normal. That's no surprise there. And then other than that, all the loot rules from the Eden's Gate Savage, they're the same here, but, upgraded with all the gear. This, I feel like more emphasis was put on, because this is something that's been this way for a while, but I'm sure players still make the same mistake every time. By selecting duty completion, players will not be matched with those who have already completed the duty. So that's just a reminder for people so they don't get screwed out of loot because they tried to join one of the later Edens and didn't understand how the loot system worked. And then the item exchange, again, same as everything else. Duties have been added to the Raid Finder. Those are the new extremes on the Savages. The old ones were moved into the Duty Finder. I didn't realize this. Healing Potency Upgain from the Echo now applies to all HP restoration actions rather than healing spells only. I hadn't noticed that was happening like that. I don't do enough Echo, content with Echo on it, but I don't know how I missed that, to be honest. You can also get the Echo in Hades' Elegy. They're removing weekly restrictions from Copied Factory. They're removing weekly restrictions from Epic of Alexander. Sync to I-475. This is standard for that to be the item level sync, just like Ukab was 345 and Uwu was 375. Then the new Tombstones being moved in. This is, again, all standard stuff. If you're new, this process is probably not something you're familiar with. But basically, the Goetia Tombstones become unavailable. And whatever stock you have of them is all the stock you'll ever have. You can't obtain them anymore. But you can turn them into the previously capped Tombstone, which was Phantasmagoria. So Phantasmagoria will now be uncapped and be like the baseline Tombstone. And you can turn your leftover Goetias into Phantasmagoria. So it's a really good idea to try to have 2,000 of those just to convert them over. It's like a 4-to-1 or 5-to-1 ratio. I think it actually says what the ratio is here. But it's still nice to have the extras because there's going to be new crafting mats from Phantasmagoria, no doubt going to be used in crafting the item level 480 gear, so I would highly advise people doing that. And also, if you aren't capping your Phantasmagoria every week, and you at least get the 450, so again, you can buy some of those mats. So on top of that, they also add the Tombstones of Allegory, which was kind of the first point here, and then those are the new capped Tombstone. They'll work exactly the same as Phantasmagoria did at the beginning of the expansion. So yeah, at this point, and they'll do that every even numbered patch. So in 5.4 we'll go through a similar process. So if you're new, that's how it works. On top of that, in Mordona, this is where they tell you about the exchange for Goetia into Phantasmagoria, and that Genesis and Mendacity have now been permanently removed from the game. If you do not have those converted into Poetics by 5.2, they're gone, and you will not get the opportunity. Now this is a disappointment to me. It was the result I thought they were going to go for, but I'm not a big fan. We know we're only getting one dungeon a patch from now on, which personally, I don't really care. But for the Duty Roulette Expert, which I don't do super often, I hate when there's only 2 dungeons in it. It's not a roulette. Call it Duty Coin Flip Expert. This is what I expected them to do, Grand Cosmos and Anamnesis Anitor, but I wish there was a better solution. I kind of just wish they left every max level dungeon in the same roulette, the whole expansion, and if you get synced down, you get synced down. Like, whatever. I'm not willing to complain. I just want some variety. You also need 10 item levels higher in order to queue in, because you have to match the item level for Grand Cosmos. Level 80 dungeons, those are now in Duty Roulette level 80 dungeons. Now, this is the one benefit. There is now an additional roulette where you can obtain Phantasmagoria and Allegory, but, I'd still rather just have one super roulette. It's just my personal preference. Cindertriff Normal is in Duty Roulette Trials. Copied Factory is now in Duty Roulette Alliance Raids. You know what, though? That actually might be a really good thing, because obviously you get Loda a ton in Duty Roulette Alliance, and I don't think that's going to change even with you know, the Moogle Tombstone event that just happened, plus we have people doing Return to Evil East to get ready for the Relic quest line, and then this is now in there, which a lot of people have copied Factory unlocked, but I still think the majority of our duty roulettes are probably going to end up being, especially because most of us don't do them at level 80, probably Labyrinth of the Ancients. The normal raid roulette has the Eden's Verse, Fulmination, Fury, Iconoclasm, and Refulgence, and Mentor has gotten, you know, the new normal mode, the new dungeon, as well as the 4 Eden's Verse normal, as well as having its minimum item level bumped to 455. All these right here are just them adjusting the tombstones, you know, like moving out the old Goishas and moving in allegories. So this is just changing the names of everything. All the values and all the technicalities of this are still 100% identical to the way they were before. Going all the way down, Stone Sky Sea has all the new instances, all the new trials, I should say, and the new normal and savage raid. Front lines and matching system has been adjusted. Solid PvP update. Nice. Items. We've got, of course, new equipment from the normal mode raid, the savage mode raid, crafted items, as well as dungeon items. So there's more in there, but those are the ones I can name off the top of my head. This will be the crafted set. The range physical DPS gear design, this is the winner. I think somebody said they showed more of these designs on the press site, or on the what's it called, the 5.2 site itself, because I saw people saying they really liked it, because we saw this during the live letter. I want to see what all the other sets in this look like, because these are just what the range physical sets look like on male and female. So I'm curious, because all the other jobs will get a design similar to these, you know, adjusted for their individual roles. We also have some new recipes, you know, obviously some new glam gear, some more relaxed wear I see here. New master recipe books, you know, following items can no longer be used. Mission Ceruleum, it's because Diadem has been reworked, so there's no reason to be able to use these anymore. Seafood, there's now different corals for seafoods. They already told us they were doing this. They're nerfing the vendor price of Fieldcraft Materia. Apparently it's because there's a new item that was added, or going to be added or something, that, like, there's way too easy to get Fieldcraft Materia, and so it actually ends up being a not too bad gill-wise, from what I was told. I don't know. I had someone try to explain it to me, and I was just like, you know what? I can't remember the last time I messed with Field Demicraft Materia, so, you know, whatever. As long as it's not clear Materia, because I still get a lot of those. Adjustments have been made to Materia. Materia can now be extracted from fully spirit-bound gear without losing the original item. That's going to decrease Materia prices, but increase the amount of available Materia to players who maybe don't have a lot of cash. Adjustments have been made to the requirements for melding. As long as you have one crafter at max level or meeting the conditions, then they can do all of them. I have 3 days to level a crafter from 1 to 80 on my alt, is what this is just reminded me of. Materia melding menu can now display the items have reached the maximum number of materia melded. I actually appreciate that, because I always, you know, screw that up. Subcommand retrieve materia has been added to the materia melding menu. The number of materia is now displayed during the melding process. I'm very grateful for that. I normally like hover over it to see, but the fact that it's displayed right there is certainly welcome. Certain items can now be sold, desynthesized, submitted as expert deliveries. That's no surprise there. These items can now be equipped regardless of gender. So it looks like this is all the wedding stuff basically is now whichever gender you are, you can wear them. So ladies will get to wear a nice tux, and men can wear the I don't even remember what the dress looks like. It's been so long since I've seen it, but it means you can do whatever you want with these, and that's always good. That's always good. People are always asking for restriction lifting, so this will be pretty good for a lot of people who are looking for these specific looks. New crafter actions have been added. Veneration increases the efficiency of synthesis actions by 50% for 4 steps, and groundwork. So even though they said 3 weeks after this would be when they do the majority of changes, looks like they're still starting off with a few different things here. And that level 72 increases progress at a greater cost to durability. Efficiency decreases by half when durability is below durability cost. Okay. So if it costs 20 and you're at 15, for example, well, that would be silly. I guess it makes sense, because otherwise it would just end the craft, I suppose. Inner Quiet can now, the bonus can now exceed 3,000. I remember hearing people complain about that a while ago, that it couldn't go over 3,000. Innovation had its effect changed. See, unfortunately, a lot of this stuff just goes over my head, because I don't do a lot of crafting, you know? But anyway, moving on to the next one. Ingenuity and reuse have both been removed. Easier to increase progress and quality for recipes higher than your current level. That'll make actually leveling pretty easy, or even easier. Due to change in the crafting system, the required progress and maximum quality for certain recipes has been reduced. Okay. Required collectability of certain collectibles have been reduced. Okay. The calculations feature, yeah, they showed this to us 2 live letters ago, where basically it can calculate every potential action that you can take and how it will affect the craft. They said this is really for the new Ishgard expert recipes that are being added, because they're going to be a great deal harder, so being able to adjust on the fly to the conditions that actually need to be met is going to be really important, but they want to make sure you have all the information you need. But this is still actually going to be good for even just the casual crafter, helping you understand how your skills and your stats equal a result. More information in games is always good. There were already websites that did this kind of stuff, but having this kind of thing in the game is invaluable for especially new players who actually want to learn it without, you know, just Googling, do this, do that, yada, yada, yada. So, yep, that's, I'm a big fan of this. I'm really glad they're doing this kind of information. I love seeing, even as someone who doesn't do crafting, I just love seeing things like this. This is something I can't help but smile about personally. You can also set 9 favorite actions, apparently. So that way, if there's actions you use a lot, then you can actually see how your favorite action affects it, or I suppose with the star. Oh, no, I guess that's good. I mean, that can't be used. Okay, so the red ones can't be used, and the blue ones seem exceptional, I guess. And then there's the favorites. Listen, color coding is not my strength, so I'm sorry. Let's see. Information relating to progress and quality increases at 100% efficiency is no longer displayed. Okay. That makes sense, because it's literally a flat number. Following adjustments have been made to the crafting log. Oh, yeah, that's right. Dude, it's been so long I forgot about recipe trees. It's been like 4 months, and I already forgot about these. Required materials are now displayed in blue, which is, again, another good thing to have in-game. God, these menus are so crisp. I always forget how crisp these new menus are. Yeah, and then there's just more stuff here. Display only materials when at insufficient stock, so that way you can see what you actually need. Following adjustments have been made to desynthesis. Level cap has gone up. Great. Stacked items can now be desynthesized one after the other. Okay, that's... I don't usually desynthesize stacked items very often, but anytime that you can reduce the amount of menuing and desynthesis, you're doing a good thing. Materials gained from desynthesizing certain items has been adjusted. Adjustments have been made to desynthesis skill required for certain items. For gear, the required desynthesis skill is equal to the item level. Oh, they're walking. Oh, maybe I still have some money to be made in desynthesis then. They're walking that back a little bit. So that means that if something is item level 460, you need to have the desynthesis skill at 460 to desynthesize it, but only for gear. That's not, I guess, for furnishings, for fish, it won't matter, but for gear, you know what? I approve. As someone who feels like it was made too easy last patch, I approve. I approve. It's going to be annoying for everyone else, but you know what? I did the work years ago. I don't mind. Some features such as targeting are unavailable during desynthesis. The effects of food and medicinal items are no longer expired during crafting. That's probably because of the increased difficulty of the new crafts. They can do that a little bit in advance, so you can keep the effect the entire synthesis all the way through. Sound effect to indicate successful HQ item has been changed. Following gatherer actions have been adjusted. Again, there's more stuff that's coming in 0.21, but here's a few basic things. Some GP cost reductions, duration reductions, and making things acquirable at level 15, specifically the hook set. It's all fishing stuff, so basically giving you a lot of the level 51 plus stuff at level 15, which was probably to accommodate for ocean fishing. Almost no doubt it's meant to accommodate for ocean fishing, even though ocean fishing you can do at level 1, but 15 will just mean that you can do these much earlier on. Confirmation window will now appear when canceling gathering and legendary. Oh my goodness, I've done that by accident so many times. Thank you. The following favor items for gatherers no longer have an effect. Okay. Man, I made so much money off favors. It makes me kind of sad to see this, but at this point, going back and getting those old things from favors, it sucks. So it's definitely the right decision to make when it comes to favors and, you know, no longer being able to obtain them and killing off the old ones. Yeah, it's the right decision, as much as it makes me a little sad. These items can no longer be obtained, all the oids and the round stones and whatnot. If you have these items can no longer be traded with other players. Oh, but you can trade them for crafter scripts. So I'd imagine the stuff that you used them for before is now just, you know, bought with scripts. And then you have high quality items from the Splendor vendor, as I like to call them. Oh, that's what they are called, but it rhymes and I like it. So yeah, just some more blue crafter script tokens. So you're trading those in for those ones that you got from here for these. Okay. Well, I mean, you get those from other spots. But anyway, moving on. Adjustments have been made to the animation used for fishing. We saw this during the last live letter. Small, medium, or large pulls on the fishing rod will result in more exclamation marks. Versatile lures have been added. They can be used to catch a wide range of fish. These are more do-all lures, which we started getting in 5.1 if I'm not mistaken. And they can be purchased on the Endeavor or in the lower decks. So I imagine, again, that's again more for ocean fishing, considering you can buy it on, well, the Endeavor? Yeah. So you can buy it on the fishing boat itself. Adjustments have been made to the message displayed when failing to meet requirements for fishing at sky fishing and dune fishing locations. Okay, that's probably in advance for Diadem. Gathering log and fish log guide now have the following information for applicable items. What? Wait. I don't know if I understand this. Gathering log and fish guide now display the following information for applicable items not included in gathering log. So are you saying these items that aren't included in the... Are they saying that this display doesn't show like this? I don't know. I'm moving on. I'm confused. New minor and botany gathering points have been added. New items have been added. New fishing holes, new fish. Level of certain fish in Ractica have been lowered to 70. New teeming waters, new varieties of fish. Ocean fishing, of course, which I will actually be giving a try. Just to draw parallels to the Final Fantasy XI one, and maybe to finally get my Fisher from 56 to 80, because I haven't done that yet. Participating in it, do that quest, my first fishing rod, and then, of course, go do all the fish in the sea. And then every 2 hours, there'll be a 15-minute window to queue into this over in the Limsa Lominsa lower decks. And every time a boat fills up, it will make another boat and fill that up. So every boat carries 24 players. As long as, and if your boat doesn't fill, then it'll just put whoever is queued in left over onto a boat by the end of the 15-minute mark. Alright, so availability and routes. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's a sailing schedule, but it's more robust than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be like, here's Route 1 and here's Route 2, I suppose. Yeah, the Northern Strait of Merthler, the Rotano Sea. And that's the Rotano Sea. The other one takes you up towards where Hinterlands is, like just over by Idleshire. That's where the Northern Strait is, over there. And, yeah, other than that, you know, they sell versatile lures and other stuff on the boat. You know, you get points. Information on points earned. The 3 most recently caught fish and the time remaining can be viewed. You may also view a list of fish that you have caught in the score overview. Bonuses are awarded upon fulfilling certain conditions, either individually or as a group, which affect the rewards given. Spectral currents can appear under certain conditions and cause a greater number of fishes to be caught. Ocean fishing awards experience points based on your level regardless of which fish caught, which makes it ideal for leveling up. Okay, that's really good. Once 3 fishing locations have been visited, the voyage will end and the result will be announced. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the reward at the bottom, the total score. I'm curious to see how this will actually end up working out. Yeah, there we go. Rewards are given. So you just get EXP if you get a really low score. So that means regardless of, you know, if you're like alone on the fishing boat, you can still use it to level, as an example, without worry about that really affecting it. 50 to 79, you get more experience points. And you also get yellow gatherer scripts because scripts become available at 50. And then at level 80, it just gives you white gatherer scripts on top of yellow gatherer scripts because you can't get experience points anymore. So, okay, that's all good. That's exactly the information I wanted. Looks like they're auto-logging out people who are AFK in the firmament. Interesting enough. I don't go there very often, so interesting prospect. That's the new mount from the Ruby Weapon. That's the Ruby Weapon Drake, so that'll drop from Ruby Weapon Extreme. And then the new Barding, which also is Ruby Weapon, and that face is frightening on the front of a Chocobo. New minions have... The music went quiet when I did that at the same time. It's like it knew. I need that shark. I know that the little what's it called? You know, that's just, I'm sorry, the shark has just fried my brain. I need the shark. I know what I want to say. I keep wanting to say S. The Amaradian on the left that's a good minion, but I'm gonna need that shark, and I'm sure that that's gonna come from ocean fishing because it's a shark, and that this will probably come from Anamnesis Anider, the one on the left. But I need that shark. And I need that shark ASAP. Number of crafter and gatherer scripts required for certain items have been reduced. Gil is no longer given as a reward when submitting collectibles. That's actually pretty big, going back to that. There's a lot of gil you get from the number of collectibles that people hand in. Probably just trying to reduce the amount of gil people automatically generate for just doing other activities. I don't really blame them, because gil is already so easy to obtain in this game. New achievements and titles have been added. Following adjustments have been made to certain achievements. They always make these adjustments to Tankless Job. These are all the tank achievements for the mounts and whatnot. They always add the new stuff into those, so that way people can keep working on them. Duty time remained will now be displayed prior to the disappearance of the circle restricting player movement. Okay, that wasn't even like a concern for me, but alright, I need a sip of coffee real quick. Upon completing a duty, the time until players are forced to leave has been changed from 10 minutes to the remainder of the duty's time limit. Okay. However, it'll still use 10 minutes if it's less. Okay, then that's... Alright, that's fine. So no matter what, you get at least 10 minutes. But if you don't have a lot of time, it'll give you more than 10 minutes, essentially. So that's... when I think of that, I think of specifically going back to the Ritterana Lighthouse. For those of you who didn't know... The third boss, the Construct, when you finish the dungeon, if you return to the entrance, walk all the way back through the dungeon to the third boss, you'll find the Construct dancing, which is a reference to the game that he originally comes from. So I wonder if it's for things like that, so you have the freedom to look around and take screenshots for the entire remainder of the instance of the duty's time limit, as opposed to saying like get what you can get done in 10 minutes or too bad. Also for like lore entries that are like left on the ground and stuff. It's a pretty good change, actually. It might encourage people to stick around and actually explore if they're interested, instead of worrying about only having 10 minutes to do so. New retainer, exploration, venture levels have been added. Fees are charged for items. Oh, so you get taxed equally everywhere now. Again, that kind of is in line with what I said earlier. There's too much free gil going around in Final Fantasy XIV. So, I mean, I never really cared. I've never once teleported to a location to, you know, not get taxed. But this is going to affect a lot of people who do that, because I know plenty of people who do that. Well, hope your pockets don't mind feeling a little bit lighter. Following additions and adjustments have been made to fellowships. In my hiccup that I had, I almost called them fellowshits, which, you know, it's not inaccurate. Yeah, now you get notifications for fellowship posts. New polar message has been added to the general tab. And following options have been added to activities: triple triad collectibles and chatting. Well, that's good. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the Fellowship Finder. Uh-oh. Oh, man, let me tell you that I have never once looked at the Fellowship list and seen such a crisp, complete, and kind list of fellowships. So that's not realistic. That's not realistic at all. It is basically just giving you more information. You can search for fellowships of certain sizes, recruiter names, and the actual fellowship name, or even the comment itself. So just making it easier to find fellowships, maybe hoping people use them more for intended reasons. I think they said you'd be able to access fellowships from the mobile app also in this patch, so maybe that increases the usability of fellowships, but I'm not optimistic. This we learned about in the live letter. We're getting 8 markers, although 4 is 100% G, and I hope they change the design of 4. Not that it really matters that much, but come on, that's for me. I mean, I see the 4, but for me, I call it G. On top of that, there's presets that can be saved. You can save a total of 5 presets, and yeah, that's enough to do all the Savage encounters plus the Extreme encounter or the Ultimate encounter, which again we have to talk about in another video today. But they can no longer be placed or removed during combat. This is to counter a third-party program where people have been using them. You see it a lot in the Epic of Alexander, where people use it to auto-place markers in combat based on where people need to be going or between phases, and they're trying to counteract that. I think that that gets walked back on eventually. This way markers can no longer be placed or removed. I understand that it's... How do I describe this? I think the ability to place markers per phase, like these presets, because that's the thing I think of. Yes, we have 8 markers, but sometimes it's just nice to only have markers set for a certain phase of an encounter, especially like a really long Ultimate encounter. It's when you have the programs that automatically place them without the player needing to press a button. That's the main thing they're trying to counteract. Like, oh, this attack is coming out and it knows, bam, markers here. Or the person presses it and is like, go here. But I don't know. It's just, I have a feeling they'll walk back on this. I have a feeling they'll find a different solution for this. But man, the war against third-party applications is well underway at this point, and it's going to be interesting seeing how it evolves going forward, because I have a feeling they get much less subtle about it as time goes on, because this is definitely much less subtle. 2D recorder, yay. Oh, look at that, storage space required has been increased to 210 megabytes on the PlayStation 4 version. Awesome. Camera and lighting settings. I don't really do much with group pose, but basically I've got a bunch of new settings: position, zoom, roll angle, lighting, manual brightness settings. New frames have been added, which, you know, like that, the frame around the image. But I'm not super big in that stuff, so I don't really have much to add. Exploration missions have been named to gathering forays. That's mostly for the diadem. When it's entirely for the diadem. The recordable toggle allows you to specify the duty recorder may be used. Okay, nobody does, though. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the duty finder. If you have settings enabled, it lets you know. I'm a big fan of that. I guarantee you absolutely nobody reads it and checks to see, and they will still get into the instance and go, oops, forgot to sync, or oops, forgot to unsync. But it's a good thought. It's a good thought. Now, all the tools are in our hands, and now we can only make ourselves look dumb, which we will. Frontline freelancer option has been removed. Makes sense because it's by default anyway. Once the duty commencement window has appeared, players can no longer move to another area. Okay. Reply in selected chat mode has been added as a subcommand to change the chat channel to that of a selected player. Okay, that's good. More chat options is always good. Setting the following chat channels can now be accessed through their associated windows. Okay, all right. See, I like this. I like these. These are accessibility options that I always forget about in like a day. Player logs out during the 72-hour period in which they have the returner status and does not log in again for 45 days. They will receive returner status again for 72 hours upon logging in. Wait a minute. So if you're at the 71-hour mark and then you just don't log in for a month and a half, you'll get 71 more hours back automatically. Interesting. I mean, that's a lot of forethought for anyone to try and abuse that system, but I've just given you the formula for it. If you really like leaving the game for a month and a half at a time. I guess, you know what, that almost sounds like it's specifically because of housing, maybe? Because 45 days is exactly how long it takes for you to lose a house, as long as demolition is active. So I wonder if that's why. Like, they're like, oh, you used the 72 hours to log back in, huh? Oh, and you got to keep your house, huh? Well, hey, if you just give up your house, you'll get another 72 hours. That's kind of how I'm reading that right there. The camera distance set when logging out will be retained upon logging back in. If the recommendations window is locked when logging out, no longer be locked. The requirements for acquiring certain toy chest minigames have been adjusted. I'm assuming this is because some just haven't been available. Yeah, players who have completed will now have access to the following toy chest minigames. Slide 1+14, concentration and cheap dungeon. Players who have completed the seasonal event Deus Ex Machina will now have access to the following toy chest minigame. Minigames featured in future seasonal... Wait, what? Isn't this just how I did it before? Am I bugging, or is this not just how I did it before? I wonder, are these different quests in Adventurers We Trust and Message in a Bottle? Are those not just... Am I bugging? Or are those not how I already got those in the first... I guess maybe the problem is I don't remember the names of the seasonal events that I earned these from. So either those are... Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to move on because I'm just confused and I got to use the restroom. So I'd like to get to the bottom of this video at this point. The dice command allows you to use... It's basically the random command, but in specific chat channels. Like you can /random in FC or /random in party or /random in a cross-world link shell or something. So it's just /random is around you, like around your character, and /dice allows you to do it in a chat channel. Okay. Following options have been added to character configuration: log filters, announcement tab, alarm notifications, display name size for front lines. I love that. That is actually massive for me. One of the biggest things I've said since the day PvP came out is when I play World of Warcraft PvP, I always make enemy bars a great deal larger than allied bars. And so I guess the thing is, this isn't... yeah, so this is only sort of working because this is all nameplates. So I guess if I adjust other nameplate settings so they're less visible and then I just change this to maximum, that would probably be what I would do. But I really would like to be able to make specifically the enemy display name bars larger, just the enemy ones and nothing else. So not all of them, just enemy ones. So getting there, there's a solution that I can use this for, but it's not all the way there yet. And then this is just text commands. This is based on what we just talked about. You know, /dice is on here. /nameplate display, which is the feature we literally just went over. Nameplate type, aliases. This is for the way. Oh, I'm sorry. These are the aliases for /waymark and /wmark. These are for the presets, I should say. Well, no, it says place or remove waymark 3 or 4. So this is on your mouse location, essentially. I thought this was already possible, so my bad. Additions have been made to the dictionary for autocomplete. New music and new launcher layout has been updated for Windows. And was that Windows and Mac? Windows and PlayStation 4. Windows and PlayStation 4, okay. And that is going to be a wrap for the patch 5.2 preliminary patch notes. The full patch notes will have some additional information on Tuesday, but I will be getting knee-deep into Savage, normal and Savage, right off the bat, so I probably won't post a video on the full patch notes. Now, I'd love to say that's all the news to talk about today, but I do have some other videos to record. I just got to take a quick restroom break, and I'll get to those, so apologies for those of you following me on YouTube and the subscription box. Today will be quite full because I also have a sponsored video coming out for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. But anyway, let me know what you thought about these patch notes. Let me know what you think about Refulgence and Esterung, if you think that's Shiva or if you think that's like some light scent or light-based boss or something like that. But let me know what you think. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share Twitch stream. I'm going to need a couple minutes of a break, and then we'll get back to talk about the Dengeki interviews as well as the other JP Media interviews. And I will see you guys in the next one. So thanks for watching, and until then...